What if we are who we are and then everything changes and we don't recognize ourselves anymore?
So, the absolute legend I'm joined by today. It's been 3 years since we last had our conversation, and that was at the Jaipur Literature Fest in London. And now we're talking about India sweets and spices. So, warm welcome to you, Manisha Koirala, on Filme Shilmy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Anuj.
So, Manisha, ma'am, one thing that I must say is that I've always been a fan of the sort of characters you've played, especially when they are conflicted between desire and duty, whether that's in a negative, slightly grey shade in Dil Se, or whether that's in a bit of a positive light in Khamoshi. I think in India Sweets and Spices, it shows you in a layered role as a buried backdrop. So, when it comes to portraying characters like this, what factors besides this director and script do you rely on?
So basically, I love playing layered characters. I loved playing, complex emotions, and also the character's arc is really important for me. You know, because that's the journey of the character I would want to experience and express. So. um I'm kind of have been blessed with some really interesting characters that I've played. So India Sweet and Spice as well. When I read the script for the first time, I realized this character Sheila that I'm playing
Mhm.
also has layers. Has many things which only gets revealed later on.
Mhm.
um so I thought that's a very interesting perspective. Plus the script also deals with today's times, the issues that we are facing today, or an Indian American family would face. The first generation who have migrated, the difference between the kids who are born there and the parents who have migrated, and all that. So I
Yeah.
thought that's quite relevant in today's time, the story.
Mhm.
um Plus
Yeah,
this character is pretty interesting. Yeah.
definitely. And another thing that I really find fascinating is again, some of your notable films as well previously, and I think even India Sweets and Spices, it can be right to say that there is a slight essence of it being broken, but yet
Right.
it's also trying to find that strength to revolt against oppression. So do you think, especially in India Sweets and Spice, especially Sheila, she definitely has that, I think. And when we see the film, it kind of comes to light. But do you also
Right.
feel like you have that revolutionary streak in you as a person? And do you think there's also a part of you which is quite broken? I mean, how do you reflect and internalize on these two aspects within you to bring that craft alive?
See, basically, as an actor, we don't have to agree with personal values, and the character's values don't have to be in tandem.
True.
I think then we start doing characters only closer to what we believe in. Then we can't really explore, and our boundaries becomes very narrow.
Hmm.
So an actor should be able to explore the character's psychology and values, even if it's alien to her or him. And it becomes more challenging, and it becomes more, you need to investigate, you need to peel the layers and get it to the character. Then it becomes more challenging and interesting. So having said that, Sheila's character, uh, I would say, to large extent, the rebel character I could relate to in my younger days, because I've always kind of questioned the double standards in the society or in my work environment back then. That's why when I had boyfriends, I was open about it, because I could not understand why actors could do so and why actresses couldn't do so, or the pay gap between actors and actresses, or many things. I have kind of raised, um, the disparity I've not been okay with, where a lot of people were okay with that time. And today people are voicing the same issues in a different manner. I'm quieter now because
No,
because
please never be
also
quiet. Please never be quiet. Please, अपने आवाज को और बुलंद करते जाओ, please.
yeah, but you choose the battle that there's so many battles, there's so many injustices, and there's so many things you choose the battle that you want to fight. So anyways, having said this, I feel Sheila also represent that rebellious nature and wants to speak against the injustice. And she was braver, and she goes and shaves her head, and blah blah blah, all that. I definitely resonated with that character, with side of her.
Yeah.
But I feel I have seen a lot of women in my life who have compromised for the sake of keeping the marriage alive, or keeping the marriage. They've compromised, they hurt, their humiliation, and I know a lot of people who've done this. So I guess I observe and I take that and try to put it in Sheila. Her husband is basically, he's having continuous affairs and blah blah blah, and Sheila pretends that she's in a perfect marriage, in a perfect family, and there are a lot of women who do that because they don't know the options that they have are better.
Yeah. And I think it's
So
that whole log kya kahenge mentality, isn't it, which really seeps into them as well. Yeah.
absolutely. So basically, I loved the fact in this story. I loved the fact that the younger child, in fact, her daughter, is wise enough to tell the mother that you don't need to compromise. You are okay. You fight back. You were a fighter back then. Become a fighter now. So
Mhm.
it's like I like the wisdom that child has.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, I'm glad you mentioned all this, Manisha ma'am, because in addition to this film, I am so loving the fact that we're seeing stories about women finding their voices and identities beyond social tags in Indian cinema now. Recently, Madhuri Dixit had done a film called Majama, which again follows that theme about finding your identity, embracing yourself, and being you as a person, not a mother, not a daughter, but you as a person. So what do you think has really contributed to such a movement in cinema? Because you have been a really huge part of this, because you've done films like Lajja as well at a very, during that, back in the day as well. So what do you think has contributed towards this growth?
I think evolution. People evolve. I have a strong faith in the fact that people become better, and every generation becomes wiser and kinder. And I hope I'm right though. And um, I feel it's as if it was meant to be. It was, when there is enough of injustice happens, when there's people are bound to speak up, people are bound to take a stand, and a lot of women have come forward in last 10 years I've been watching, and I've been so proud of these women, whether be it Me Too movement, be it so many things, like women are actually standing up, coming out and speaking up for each other. I just hope you know we reach a stage where all the society is a just society, even men participate in voicing women's issue, and women also point the fingers at, or all those women who do injustice to men as well. So
Mm,
I feel we should all stand up against injustice, and any society which is a weaker. So I, the fact that it's reflecting in our cinemas, it's reflecting on the stories that we are making, is also reflect, is a part of the values that, it's a changing value, it's an evolving value of our lives, which
right.
is getting reflected into movies.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad we're talking about this because, I think when it comes to being a crusader, you've definitely always, of course, I mean, we've spoken before about how you've bravely sort of healed from a very horrible terminal illness. And of course, as a UN FPA Goodwill Ambassador, you've been championing, the topic of women's rights in Nepal as well, which has been incredible to watch. So tell me, to what extent have these two major experiences in life humbled you and I guess helped to discover that strength within you as an artist?
It's such a falling ill is such a humbling experience. Every that to me has been the most educating experience uh, of human. That we uh, are so much dependent on others, our families, our doctors, our support system. I learned the value of that. I learned so many things. It's humbled me. It taught me, and it kind of made me slightly look beyond the superficial. You know, what is truly important in life. And what is essential and what is not essential in life. So, it's been a great experience to me. It's been the most um, painful, at the same time most treasured experience, because I learned a lot from that.
It was very interesting. I was watching a YouTube, an old interview of yours, actually. I think it may have been Simi Garewal. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but it was a very beautiful interview. And someone had written as a comment on there, Manisha Koirala is Bollywood's Mona Lisa. And I read that comment, and that really brought a huge smile on my face. And the way I see it, Manisha, is you've had a very very dynamic career in terms of the films. You had that mainstream films, but then there was also that sense of um, art and, like I said, layered sort of types of cinema. So when it comes to India Sweets and Spices, and at this stage of your career, do you how much of that image that you had back in the 90s and the 2000s, how much of that is relevant now for you, and how important do you feel a need to shrug that image off and completely change the game completely?
Anuj, I really feel the couple of things. Again, this answer would have layers. First of all, as an artist, I need to feel there's a growth, and I need to be working in an environment which is new and challenging, and the characters are new. So definitely, I would want that. Secondly, I also have to be responsible towards the viewers, and see if I'm making sense. If I carry my image of 90s today, will will that really help? Will that really work in today's time? So that's my responsibility towards people who appreciate my work, and would want to see me shine and want to see me doing good work. So it's like a fine balance between, you know I thrive when there's a good director, when there's a good actor, and you know uh, the environment of people who are really committed for making a great project. So
Yes.
I thrive. I feel my living. I feel worth of doing this work. I don't know how to explain. It's like
Yeah,
recently I was on the set,
mm,
and I was not well, and I spoke to myself, if this is the last day of my life, so be it. I'm going to give 200% of my work to this day, this scene that I was performing. So I want to give it my all, uh, and I crave for an environment where people are that committed.
yes,
And that's what makes life worth living, when you're, or work worth working. um
absolutely. No,
so yeah.
That was so empowering to her. And unfortunately, we've run out of time, so I'm going to have to wrap it up there. But Manisha, ma'am, it's always such a pleasure to have this conversation with you. And congratulations on the film and your all upcoming projects as well. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you. All the best. Thanks. Bye-bye.